Okay, so in this video, we are going to be talking about comparative adjectives. Now, we all know what an adjective is. It describes a noun. We use comparative adjectives to compare two things, two nouns. So, to make the comparative adjective, you take the adjective and then you add er to make the comparative adjective. So taller is tall, the adjective, plus er, taller. Taller means more tall. So let's look at this picture below. Let's complete the question and then answer. So the question, we want to know who is more tall. Who is more tall, Mark or John? But we want to use the comparative adjective. So to form the comparative adjective, we take the adjective, tall, and then just add er, taller. So the question is, who is taller, Mark or John? Let's look at the picture. Who's taller, Mark or John? Mark. Mark is taller. So you can either say Mark is taller, period, or Mark is taller than John. It sounds better to have the full sentence. Mark is taller than John. So Mark is more tall than John. Is that okay? You need than. So we have Mark, that's the first noun, he's a person. Mark is taller, more tall than John. You do need this word than when you're comparing Mark and John. So Mark is taller than John. All right, now let's go to the next one. Same thing. We have to look at the picture, complete the question, and then answer it. So the question is, which flower is, and then we have the adjective large. So we want to know which flower is more large, but we want to use the comparative adjective plus er. So what will we put here? Which flower is larger? Larger. Now, one thing to note, because large already ends with E, we just add the R. Do you see? We don't do two E's. No. When it ends in E already, you just add the R. We don't want two E's. So, which flower is larger? Now let's answer the question. Which flower is larger? The red flower or the purple flower? The purple flower. So how would we answer this question? The purple flower is larger. So you could either say the purple flower is larger, period, or you could say the purple flower is larger than the red flower. Both are good. This is a more complete sentence, but both are okay. So which flower is larger? The purple flower is larger. The purple flower is larger than the red flower. We need than if we're going to talk about both the red flower and the purple flower. But if we're just saying the purple flower is larger, that's okay. Than the red flower is just comparing it to the red flower again. Okay, hopefully this is okay. Let's keep moving on. All right, so you need to be careful. Sometimes there are spelling changes with comparative adjectives. So I already showed you if the adjective ends in E, like large, you just add the R, not ER, just R. But there are other spelling changes as well. So let's look at this. Big. Can you think of what it would be? The comparative adjective? It would be bigger. Bigger. Now, what you need to be careful with is it's not B-I-G-E-R, it's B-I-G-G-E-R. Which house is bigger? So let's answer the question, and then I'll tell you why there are two G's. So which house is bigger? The purple house or the red house? The red house. The red house is bigger. So the red house is bigger. That's okay. But the red house is bigger than the purple house. That is a more complete sentence. Try to do this. This is better. So the red house is bigger than the purple house. All right, so there are two G's in bigger. We had to double times 2 the last letter before we added ER. Whenever the adjective ends in a consonant, vowel, consonant, you have to double the last letter before adding ER. So look, big is consonant, B is a consonant, I is a vowel, and G is a consonant. So we need to do two G's. Big, bigger. Is that okay? We're going to practice this again with this picture. All right, look, which cat is, and we have the adjective fat. So we want to know which cat is more fat, but we want to use a comparative adjective. So we have to add ER. But wait, think about spelling changes. Look, F, consonant, A, vowel, T, consonant. So what's going to happen with fat? We're going to double the last letter before adding ER. So which cat is fatter? Which cat is fatter? So that's the question. What's the answer? Which cat is fatter? The black cat or the orange cat? The orange cat is fatter than the black cat. The orange cat is fatter than the black cat. The orange cat is fatter than the black cat. And see, two T's. We doubled it. You have to be careful though, because there are some adjectives that you cannot put ER on. They're irregular. They change. There are irregular comparative adjectives. This should say that should say comparative adjective, my fault. Okay, so we have the adjective on the left and then the comparative adjective on the right. So we have good or well. Let me think of an example. So good or well is the adjective. So when we're talking about just one person, we would use good or well. So she cooks well. She cooks well. I'm going to write this down so I can show you. She cooks well means that her food is good. She does a good job cooking. She cooks well. She cooks well. Well is the adjective that we have there. It's describing how she cooks. Let's say Mary and Jane. I like Mary's cooking more than Jane's. So I would say Mary cooks So then I would say Mary cooks better than Jane does. So let's change she to Mary. So Mary cooks well. Well is the adjective. We are only talking about Mary, one person. But when we talk about two people and it's a comparative adjective, it becomes better. Well becomes better. Mary cooks better than Jane, or than Jane does. So well becomes better. Weller is not a word. Well, better. Let's look at the others. So good or well becomes better. Bad becomes worse. So should we do another example with bad and worse? I can do another example. It'll be about cooking again. So let's just say Justine is a bad cook. I don't think that's true. I think I'm a good cook, but just for the sentence. So Justine is a bad cook. So bad is describing what kind of cook I am. So bad is an adjective. But what if we're comparing me to someone else and we want bad to be a comparative adjective? So Justine is a bad cook. So I'll show you an example with a question this time of a comparative adjective for bad. So remember, bad, adjective, worse, comparative adjective. Who is worse at cooking? Justine or Jack? So when we're comparing two people, Justine and Jack, it's who is worse at cooking, Justine or Jack? Justine is a bad cook, bad adjective. Who is worse at cooking, Justine or Jack? So that just means who is more bad, but we say worse. Who is worse? Okay, so let's go back. We also have little becomes less. So you would not say littler. No, you would say less. Less. And then sometimes it's not irregular and you can't add ER. So sometimes you cannot add ER to form the comparative adjective. For example, expensive, the opposite of cheap, costs a lot of money. The comparative adjective is more expensive. Expensiver is not a word. Why can we not add ER to expensive? In general, the longer the adjective, so look, expensive is an adjective. It's a pretty long word. The longer the adjective, the more likely you cannot add ER. So let's think of another example. I have another example. The word beautiful. beautiful. Beautifuler, you can't do that. Beautiful is too long of a word. So if we want to compare two things with a comparative adjective, you say more beautiful. So roses are more beautiful than dandelions. You need to say more. So when you cannot add ER, just put more before. Okay. So now we're just going to practice a little. Oop. Let's practice a little. And hopefully you know the answers to these questions. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what is more scary, a lion or a turtle. But we don't want to say more scary, we want a comparative adjective. So what goes there? What's scarier, a lion or a turtle? Think about it. I think we all know a lion is scarier than a turtle. A lion is scarier than a turtle. Here, let's move this down. We'll move the answer down there. So what's scarier, a lion or a turtle? A lion is scarier than a turtle. All right, now we have tall. What's a mountain or a tree? What's taller, a mountain or a tree? I'll give you a second to think about it. What's taller, a mountain or a tree? I think we all know. A mountain is taller than a tree. Nice. Okay, next question. What's, oop, oh no, my river. All right, looks like I forgot to put the adjectives, so I'll just say them, the adjectives in parentheses. So what's the Nile or the Delaware River? The adjective is long, long. So how do we make that a comparative adjective? We add ER. What is longer, the Nile or the Delaware River? I believe the Nile is the longest river in the world. So the answer would be the Nile is longer than the Delaware. Sorry, the Delaware River is in Pennsylvania. It's between Pennsylvania and New Jersey, for anyone that might not know. All right, next question. What's Mount Everest or the Pocono Mountains? What's Mount Everest or the Pocono Mountains? We'll say high, because sometimes with mountains you can say tall or high. So what would the question be for high? What's higher, Mount Everest or the Pocono Mountains? What's higher? Mount Everest is higher than the Pocono Mountains. Okay, so now last one, and the adjective here is beautiful. Oops, forgot the A in mountains, also capital. So next is beautiful. Now be careful. Can we add ER to beautiful? No, we cannot. So what's more beautiful, a rose or a rock? Answer, a rose is more. Now remember, it has to be more beautiful because beautiful is a long word. Because it is long, you cannot add ER. So I hope that helped you with comparative adjectives. Feel free to watch the video again. Make sure you keep practicing. You can even look around your room and start comparing things. So, what's larger, my cup or my pen? My cup is larger than my pen. So you can practice this just by looking around you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be uploading a different video on superlative adjectives. This video right now is comparative adjectives. So be sure to watch the next video. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.